Pain is the real teacher. The moments that break you are the moments that build you. Pain isn't your enemy, it's your instructor. When everything feels like it's falling apart, when the weight of your world collapses on top of you, that's when the lesson begins. Everyone wants to be strong, but nobody wants to go through the process that creates strength. You don't build resilience in comfort. You don't grow in peace. You grow when life forces you to your knees and dares you to stand up again. Pain doesn't care about your excuses, your emotions, or your story. It strips all of that away and shows you what's real. It exposes who you are beneath the noise. When pain shows up, most people run from it. They drown it in distractions, numb it with habits, or hide behind fake positivity. But the truth is, you can't outrun pain. It'll chase you into your dreams. It'll find you in silence. It's not there to destroy you. It's there to teach you. Every scar carries a lesson. Every failure holds wisdom. But you only learn if you stop fighting the pain and start listening to it. The more you resist, the louder it screams. The more you embrace it, the stronger you become. Pain has a strange way of teaching you patience, humility, and endurance. Things no book or mentor can give. Pain is the test of your soul. It asks you one question: how bad do you want it? Everyone says they want change, but when the struggle hits, they quit. They think pain means something's wrong, but in reality, pain is a sign that something real is happening. It means growth. It means transformation. The cocoon doesn't feel good to the caterpillar, but that suffering is what turns it into a butterfly. The same is true for you. When your life feels tight, when it feels unbearable, that's the transformation phase. That's when your potential is breaking out of the old version of you. Pain also kills illusions. It shows you who's real around you. When life is good, everyone's with you. When life gets dark, people disappear, and all you're left with is yourself. And that's the point. Pain isolates you so you can finally meet the person you really are. You start to realize you've been underestimating yourself for too long. Pain pushes you to tap into a part of you that only comes alive when everything else collapses. It's in the sleepless nights, the silent tears, and the lonely battles that you find your real strength. When you're broken, pain gives you two options: quit or build. Quitting is easy, but building requires grit. It requires faith when nothing makes sense. It requires trusting that every hit you take is shaping you for something bigger. Pain doesn't hand out trophies. It forges warriors. It burns away your weakness, your laziness, your doubt. It refines you like fire refines metal. The more it burns, the purer you become. You start to realize that the things you used to complain about were preparing you. Every betrayal, every failure, every heartbreak, it all had a purpose. Pain also teaches you discipline. When you suffer long enough, you stop expecting things to be easy. You stop waiting for motivation. You learn to move forward regardless of how you feel. Pain shows you that emotions can't control you unless you let them. It teaches you that consistency is stronger than comfort. The more you face pain, the more numb you become to excuses. You begin to crave the challenge because you've seen what it creates in you. Pain teaches you gratitude. It teaches you to appreciate small victories, the breath you take after a storm, the peace that comes after chaos. You start realizing that life doesn't owe you anything, and yet every moment you get to fight is a gift. Pain strips away entitlement and replaces it with appreciation. It reminds you that you survived everything that tried to break you, and that survival isn't luck, it's strength. When pain hits, don't run from it. Sit with it. Let it burn through your fears. Let it carve away your weakness. Let it build the foundation for your next version. Because pain is not here to end you. It's here to educate you. Every time you overcome it, you graduate to a higher level of yourself. Pain is the real teacher, and its lessons are written in scars, sweat, and endurance. Embrace the darkness. When everything falls apart, stop running. Stand in the chaos and learn to breathe in it. Most people spend their whole lives running from their pain, running from their thoughts, running from silence. They distract themselves with noise, with comfort, with anything that helps them avoid facing what's inside. But the truth is, You can't outrun darkness. It follows you. It lives inside you. And until you learn to face it, it will own you. The moment you stop running, the moment you turn around and stare it in the face, that's when you take your power back. Darkness only wins when you fear it. When your life starts to crumble, when your plans fail, when the people you trusted walk away, that's when you meet the darkness. It comes in waves: confusion, fear, loneliness. It tells you you're lost. It tells you you're finished. But that's not the truth. The truth is that darkness is the forge where strength is built. You don't become unbreakable in the light. You become unbreakable when you've walked through nights so long that dawn feels like a myth, and yet you kept moving anyway. Embracing the darkness isn't about enjoying the pain. It's about understanding that inside that pain lies your transformation. The chaos you're facing right now isn't random. It's a test. It's life stripping away everything fake so you can see what's real. When you're surrounded by darkness, you have to stop searching for an escape and start searching for yourself. You have to learn how to find calm in the storm, how to control your breath when the world is suffocating you. Because when you can find peace in pain, when you can stand still in the middle of chaos, nothing can break you anymore. Most people lose themselves because they think darkness is the enemy, but it's not. It's a mirror. It shows you who you are when no one's watching. It reveals your weakness, your fears, and your limits so you can destroy them one by one. You'll never know your strength if you never meet your darkness. It's in the nights you cry alone, in the silence where your thoughts eat you alive, that you discover what you're really made of. You start realizing that the darkness isn't trying to kill you. It's trying to wake you up. It's showing you that the comfort you've been clinging to is what's been keeping you small. Every time you run from pain, you choose weakness. But every time you face it, you build power. The kind of power that doesn't depend on circumstances, motivation, or people. It comes from within. When you embrace the darkness, you stop expecting things to be easy. You stop craving shortcuts. You stop blaming the world. You understand that pain, failure, and struggle are part of the process. You start welcoming hard days because you know they're shaping you. You know that while everyone else is hiding from the struggle, you're training in it. You're adapting to it. You're becoming immune to what destroys others. That's how mental toughness is born. By standing in chaos and learning to breathe when everything in you screams to run. Darkness has a way of exposing the truth about who you are. It shows you the difference between who you pretend to be and who you really are when everything is taken away. It reveals the part of you that still fights when you have no strength left. It teaches you that peace isn't found when life gets easier. It's found when you get stronger. Embracing the darkness means accepting that not every day will feel good. Not every season will be light, but every moment can serve your growth if you let it. The world will tell you to stay positive, to look for the light, to avoid the negative, but sometimes there is no light. Sometimes all you have is the dark, and that's when you learn that your own fire has to burn brighter than the world around you. That fire comes from pain. It comes from endurance. It comes from refusing to let the darkness define you. You don't escape it, you evolve through it. When you can stand in the middle of your chaos and still breathe, you win. When your world falls apart and you don't, you win. When everything you thought you needed disappears and you're still standing, that's power. That's freedom. Embrace the darkness because it's the only place where real strength is born. Your weakness is lying to you. That voice in your head that whispers, you can't go on, you're not enough, you're too tired, is not telling you the truth. It's the comfort zone trying to drag you back to safety, trying to keep you ordinary, trying to protect you from the pain that comes with growth. That voice doesn't care about your potential. It only cares about your comfort, and the longer you listen to it, the more control it gains over your life. Every person who ever achieved something great had to learn to silence that voice, to push past it, to prove it wrong through action, not words. Weakness doesn't show up when things are easy. It shows up when you're tired, when you're hurting, when you've been fighting for so long that quitting feels like relief. It starts to sound reasonable. It starts to sound logical. It tells you to stop, to rest, to take it easy. It tells you you've done enough. But that's the trap. That's the voice that has killed more dreams than failure ever has. The truth is, weakness doesn't want you to suffer. It wants you to stay average. It wants you to stay safe, stay predictable, stay small. Because the moment you start pushing your limits, the moment you start ignoring that voice, you become dangerous to the life you've settled for. Every time you listen to that weakness, you trade your future for temporary relief. You trade progress for comfort. You trade greatness for ease. The voice that says you can't go on isn't your friend. It's your fear disguised as logic. It tries to convince you that pain means stop, that struggle means failure, that exhaustion means you've reached your limit. But you haven't. The human mind will quit long before the body ever does. You're capable of going further than you think, but you'll never know that if you keep believing the lies your weakness tells you. When that voice says, you can't, that's when you have to push harder. That's when you have to dig deeper. Because beyond that voice is everything you've ever wanted. Weakness can only control you if you listen to it. Once you stop giving it power, it starts to fade. You start realizing that most of your limits are imaginary, built by fear and maintained by excuses. Every time you push past that mental wall, you take a piece of power back from your weakness. You reclaim control. Your weakness will try to disguise itself as reason. It will tell you to wait until tomorrow, to start when you're ready, to stop when it hurts. It sounds smart. It sounds justified. But it's a liar. You'll never feel ready. The pain will never fully go away. Waiting only makes you weaker, because every time you choose comfort over challenge, you strengthen the voice that's been holding you back. Weakness doesn't disappear. You have to starve it. You starve it by action. You starve it by showing up on the days you don't feel like it. You starve it by working when you're tired, by pushing when you're done, by refusing to negotiate with that inner voice. Weakness hates discipline because discipline exposes it. The moment you start living by action instead of emotion, the lies begin to lose their power. You realize that you don't need to feel strong to be strong. You don't need to feel ready to move forward. You just need to do it anyway. Every time you silence that voice and take one more step, one more rep, one more round, you build proof that weakness has been lying to you all along. You begin to see that pain is not the signal to stop. It's a signal that you're changing. That's the truth weakness doesn't want you to see. It doesn't want you to know that you are capable of so much more than you think. It doesn't want you to realize that beyond fear is freedom, beyond struggle is strength, beyond exhaustion is growth. It wants you to stay in the loop of almost starting, almost trying, almost becoming. That's its game. And you win by refusing to play. Your weakness will always whisper lies. It will always try to make you doubt yourself, to make you believe you're done when you're only getting started. The challenge is to recognize that voice, not as truth, but as the barrier you must break through. The more you confront it, the quieter it gets. The more you push, the smaller it becomes. And one day, that voice that once told you you can't becomes the proof that you always could. Build from the ashes. When you feel broken, that's your signal to rebuild stronger. Every scar is proof you refuse to quit. Every time life knocks you down, every time you lose everything you thought you couldn't live without, you're being handed a choice. Stay shattered or start rebuilding. Most people let their destruction define them. They let their pain become their identity. But real strength begins the moment you look at the wreckage of your life and decide to start again, not as the person you were, but as someone new, someone forged by fire. Being broken is not the end. It's the start of transformation. When you hit rock bottom, you meet the real you, the version stripped of excuses, masks, and illusions. You realize that no one is coming to save you. The friends you thought would show up might not. The world might not care. And that's the moment your rebuilding begins. The ashes you're standing in are not the remains of your failure. They're the foundation for your comeback. You learn that every time something burns down, something inside you gets reborn. That's how you build real strength, not by avoiding pain, but by learning to use it. The process of rebuilding is never clean. It's raw, lonely, and slow. There are days when you'll doubt whether it's even worth it. You'll look at what's gone and wonder why it had to happen. But those moments of doubt are the forge where resilience is created. You don't build from confidence. You build from struggle. You build when your hands are shaking, when your heart is heavy, when you don't know what comes next, but you take a step anyway. That's the beauty of starting from ashes. There's nothing left to lose, so you can finally give everything you've got. Every scar you carry tells a story. It's not a mark of weakness. It's a reminder that you stood in the fire and survived. Scars are the evidence of your endurance, the proof that life tried to break you and failed. The world will see your scars as flaws, but you know better. They are symbols of strength, of persistence, of every time you refuse to quit when quitting was the easier choice. You wear them not as reminders of pain, but as armor, proof that you can be destroyed and still rise. When you build from the ashes, you start to understand that destruction has a purpose. It clears out what no longer serves you. It exposes what was weak, fake, or temporary. It forces you to rebuild with intention. The old version of you might have relied on comfort, validation, or approval. But this new version, the one born from ashes, relies on discipline, self-respect, and purpose. You stop chasing what broke you and start creating what strengthens you. You realize that rebuilding isn't about returning to who you were. It's about becoming who you were meant to be. Every time you rise from nothing, you become more dangerous to the world that tried to silence you. Because now you know what it's like to lose everything and still keep moving. You know how to fight when there's nothing left in you. You know that pain can't destroy you. It can only sharpen you. Building from the ashes means embracing the process, not rushing it. It means understanding that healing isn't instant. It's brick by brick, step by step, one small act of strength at a time. It's learning to build while you're still bleeding. It's moving forward when your legs are tired. It's choosing to believe there's something left in you when your mind says there isn't. The ashes are your opportunity. They're your clean slate. They're the ground zero of your next level. Most people look at the ruins and see an end, but the ones who rise see a beginning. They understand that pain is temporary, but quitting lasts forever. You don't wait for motivation to rebuild. You rebuild because you refuse to stay broken. Every time you take a step, you prove to yourself that you're still here, still standing, still capable of becoming more. The world respects the ones who keep going when they have every reason to stop. The ones who turn loss into lessons, pain into power, scars into stories. When you build from the ashes, you're not just rebuilding a life. You're rebuilding a mindset, a spirit, a foundation that can't be destroyed again. The fire might take everything from you, but it also reveals what can't be burned. Your will, your fight, your heart. And that's what you use to rise again, stronger than you ever were before.